Many people have limited land and don't know which crops offer the best return on investment. To earn more income from farming without needing hundreds of acres, which 6 crops consistently command high prices, and why do experienced growers choose them over traditional field crops? Learn how to choose profitable specialty crops based on demand, climate, growing difficulty, and market opportunities. Most people assume making good money from farming means owning hundreds of acres, giant tractors, and a massive team of workers. That's what I believed for years. Whenever someone talked about farming as a business, I pictured endless fields stretching to the horizon. It seemed impossible for someone with a backyard, a few raised beds, or a couple of acres to ever compete. But here's what nobody tells you. Some of the world's most profitable farms are surprisingly small. Instead of planting acres of low-value crops, smart growers focus on specialty plants that people are willing to pay premium prices for. They're growing crops chefs can't find in supermarkets, herbs that herbalists buy year-round, mushrooms harvested in climate-controlled rooms, and fruits so flavorful customers happily pay several times the grocery store price. The surprising part isn't that these crops exist. It's that many beginners have never heard of them. Today we're exploring 6 crops that have helped countless small-scale farmers build thriving businesses. No, they aren't magic money plants, and success still takes planning, skill, and finding reliable buyers. But each has the potential to generate impressive income from surprisingly small spaces when grown well and sold into the right markets. And stay with me until the end, because the final crop has one of the highest value per square foot potentials on this entire list. Yet many gardeners overlook it simply because they think it's too difficult. Let's begin. Number 1. Gourmet mushrooms. Imagine opening the door to a cool growing room. Instead of rows of vegetables, shelves are filled with clusters of beautiful oyster mushrooms, cascading like white waterfalls. Nearby, golden mushrooms glow softly under gentle lighting, while thick shiitake caps slowly mature on hardwood logs. It's an unforgettable sight. What most people don't realize is that mushrooms don't require full sun or acres of farmland. Many varieties thrive indoors, making them ideal for garages, sheds, basements, or insulated outbuildings where temperature and humidity can be managed. That's one reason experienced growers love them. You aren't waiting months for harvests like many traditional crops. Oyster mushrooms, for example, can often be harvested within weeks after the growing substrate is fully colonized, allowing for multiple production cycles each year. Restaurants especially value fresh gourmet mushrooms because their flavor and texture are often superior to imported products that may have traveled long distances. For beginners, oyster mushrooms are among the easiest varieties to start with. They grow vigorously, tolerate minor mistakes better than many specialty mushrooms, and produce generous flushes under the right conditions. Here's a useful tip. Cleanliness matters. Always sanitize growing equipment and work areas carefully. Healthy mushroom production depends on giving beneficial fungal cultures a head start before unwanted molds or bacteria can compete. Growing conditions vary by species, but many gourmet mushrooms prefer cool to moderate temperatures with high humidity and indirect light. Sometimes the most profitable crop isn't growing under the sun at all. If mushrooms surprised you, the next crop proves that some of the highest profits don't come from harvesting food at all, but from growing something people treasure for its fragrance. Number 2. Lavender. Picture a field shimmering with waves of silver-green foliage. Every summer, thousands of slender stems rise above the plants before bursting into clouds of soft purple flowers that sway gracefully in the breeze. The air itself seems scented. Lavender has become one of the most versatile specialty crops available. Fresh bouquets decorate homes. Dried flowers fill handmade crafts. Essential oils supply cosmetic companies. Soap makers, candle makers, herbal businesses, florists, and gift shops all create demand throughout the year. That's what gardeners love. One harvest can often become multiple products. Fresh stems, dried bundles, sachets, wreaths, essential oils, even culinary lavender for baking and teas. Diversifying products can help growers reach different customers rather than relying on a single market. Beginners also appreciate that established lavender plants are relatively drought-tolerant once their roots are well developed. They generally require less irrigation than many thirsty vegetable crops. Here's the secret. Drainage is everything. Lavender dislikes soggy roots. Plant it in well-drained soil with plenty of sunshine and avoid overwatering. Raised beds or gravelly soils often work especially well. Most lavender grows best in USDA zones 5 through 9, depending on the variety, although local conditions and winter protection influence success. Sometimes you're not selling flowers. You're selling fragrance, relaxation, and beauty. By now, you're probably noticing something interesting. The most profitable crops often solve a problem people gladly pay to solve, whether that's unique ingredients, beautiful landscapes, or handmade products. The next crop takes that idea even further. Number 3. Saffron crocus. Imagine walking through your garden on a crisp autumn morning. Tiny violet flowers have opened overnight. Each blossom holds 3 delicate crimson threads, glowing like fine strands of silk. Those threads are saffron. Every thread must be harvested carefully by hand. That explains why saffron has long been one of the world's most valuable spices by weight. The labor involved, not just the plant itself, is what creates much of its value. Gardeners who grow saffron enjoy the fact that it occupies very little space. Thousands of crocus corms can fit into surprisingly compact planting areas compared with many food crops. Another advantage is timing. Unlike many flowering plants, saffron crocuses bloom in autumn, adding beauty when much of the garden is winding down. For beginners, success starts with healthy corms planted in loose, well-drained soil. Avoid heavy clay that remains wet through winter. Saffron generally performs best in areas with warm, dry summers and cooler autumn weather, thriving in USDA zones 6 through 9 with proper drainage. Harvest should happen early in the morning while flowers are freshly opened. The crimson stigmas are then gently removed and carefully dried. It's meticulous work, but that's exactly why saffron remains such a premium product. Sometimes value comes not from growing more, but from growing something few people are willing to harvest by hand. Number 4. Ginseng. Imagine walking through a quiet hardwood forest early in the morning. Sunlight filters through tall maple, oak, and beech trees, creating a soft patchwork of light across the forest floor. Beneath layers of fallen leaves, almost hidden from view, grows one of the world's most valuable medicinal plants. At first glance, it doesn't look impressive. A few green leaves, a slender stem, bright red berries in late summer. You could easily walk past it without noticing. Yet beneath the soil lies the real treasure, a slowly developing root that has been valued for centuries in traditional herbal medicine and continues to command premium prices in many markets today. Here's what most people don't realize. Unlike many crops that demand constant attention, ginseng is grown for patience rather than speed. That's exactly why experienced growers admire it. While annual vegetables need replanting every season, American ginseng can spend several years quietly maturing beneath the forest canopy. Properly grown roots often develop the natural appearance and quality buyers look for. The biggest advantage? You don't necessarily need open farmland. If you own woodland with rich, well-drained soil and plenty of shade, you may already have suitable conditions for forest farming. This allows land that might otherwise sit unused to become productive. For beginners, it's important to understand that ginseng is a long-term investment. Harvesting too early greatly reduces both quality and value. Most successful growers think in years, not months. One helpful gardening tip is to mimic nature as closely as possible. Leave fallen leaves on the ground to help maintain moisture, protect young plants, and slowly improve the soil as they decompose. American ginseng generally grows best in USDA zones 4 through 8 beneath deciduous hardwood forests with approximately 70 to 80% shade. Some of the most rewarding crops don't reward impatience, they reward careful stewardship over time. By now, you're probably noticing a pattern. High-profit crops often have one thing in common. They offer something that can't easily be mass-produced by giant industrial farms. And the next crop proves exactly that. Number 5. Wasabi. Picture a cool mountain stream flowing over smooth stones. The water is crystal clear. The air stays cool even during summer. Beside that, flowing water grows one of the world's most misunderstood plants. Most people think they've tasted wasabi. In reality, much of the green paste served outside Japan is made primarily from horseradish, mustard, and food coloring, because true wasabi is far more difficult and expensive to grow. That difficulty creates opportunity. Fresh wasabi rhizomes are prized by high-end restaurants and specialty food markets because of their delicate flavor and aroma, which are very different from common substitutes. Gardeners love wasabi because it occupies relatively little space while producing an exceptionally valuable harvest when grown successfully. But here's the surprising part. Wasabi doesn't enjoy hot sunshine. Instead, it prefers cool temperatures, consistently moist soil, and partial to deep shade. In many ways, it behaves more like a woodland plant than a typical vegetable. That makes it an interesting option for growers who have shaded areas where tomatoes or peppers would struggle. For beginners, maintaining consistent moisture is often the biggest challenge. The soil should stay evenly moist but never become waterlogged. Good drainage remains essential. Wasabi generally performs best in USDA zones 8 through 10, although cooler climates can also support it with protection or controlled growing environments. Patience matters here too. The rhizomes typically require well over a year to mature, but the premium prices reflect both the growing difficulty and limited supply. Sometimes your least sunny garden space can become one of your most valuable. We've explored crops that thrive in forests, shade, and climate-controlled rooms. But the final crop has quietly built an enormous global industry, and many small growers are finding creative ways to enter this market without planting hundreds of acres. Number 6. Vanilla. Imagine walking into a tropical greenhouse. Long green vines climb wooden posts and trees, their glossy leaves catching filtered sunlight. Hidden among the foliage are elegant pale flowers that bloom for only a short time. Those flowers hold incredible potential. Each one can eventually produce a vanilla bean, but only if it's pollinated successfully. Outside its native range, that usually means pollinating each flower by hand. It's delicate work. Every flower has only a brief window to be pollinated, often lasting just a single day. That labor is one reason genuine vanilla remains one of the world's most valuable spices. Experienced growers appreciate vanilla because demand remains strong across the food, beverage, fragrance, and cosmetic industries. Real vanilla delivers a rich aroma and complex flavor that synthetic alternatives simply can't duplicate. For small-scale farmers in tropical and subtropical climates, or those with well-managed greenhouses, vanilla offers a specialty crop with remarkable value per pound. Beginners should understand that vanilla isn't a quick profit plant. It needs warmth, high humidity, filtered light, sturdy supports for climbing, and patience. Vines often require several years before producing flowers, but once established, healthy vines can continue producing beans season after season with proper care. Vanilla generally thrives in tropical conditions, equivalent to USDA zones 10 through 11, or inside carefully controlled greenhouses in cooler climates. One useful tip is to train vines upward before gently allowing them to loop downward. This natural growth pattern often encourages flowering. Sometimes the world's most valuable crops aren't the biggest, they're simply the most carefully cultivated. Imagine looking across your property a few years from now. Instead of seeing empty corners, shaded woodland, or unused buildings, you see opportunity. A cool room producing gourmet mushrooms, rows of fragrant lavender buzzing with pollinators, autumn saffron glowing in the morning light, a quiet woodland nurturing ginseng beneath fallen leaves, shaded beds growing authentic wasabi, graceful vanilla vines climbing toward the greenhouse roof. Every successful grower starts with a single decision: not to plant everything, but to choose the right crop for the right place, learn its needs, and improve a little each season. Remember, no crop guarantees wealth. Success depends on your climate, production skills, local regulations, product quality, and most importantly, finding reliable markets before you expand. But selecting a high-value specialty crop can dramatically improve the earning potential of a small farm when paired with good planning and consistent management. The most profitable farm isn't always the biggest. Often, it's simply the smartest. Which of these 6 high-value crops surprised you the most? Have you ever grown mushrooms, lavender, saffron, ginseng, wasabi, or vanilla? Or is there another profitable specialty crop you've had success with? Share your experience in the comments. Your advice could inspire another grower. If you enjoy practical gardening, smart farming ideas, and ways to get more from every square foot of land, be sure to subscribe and join us for more videos. Your next harvest could begin with just one great idea.